you're a home buyer, somebody or a young person looking to buy a home, you need a bit of a reset.
There is a possibility on the other side of this that inflation could actually be quite low.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in and the drama with Airbnb and the STRs continues. We finally have a company, which personally, I don't even know how they could legally be in business, but we finally have a company, Front Desk, that is on the verge of filing bankruptcy because their business model no longer works. So we're going to go into what Front Desk was doing, what happened, and I'm going to show you guys again the inventory of STRs and how all we need is some of that inventory back in order for home prices to go down. But again, the STR thing, you guys, when we read the story and when I take you through this video, it's just completely out of control. What the investors were doing with SFRs is absolutely mind-blowing. Remember what Airbnb is, and I'm not trying to say the government should like regulate our homes, right? I believe in freedom, I believe in property rights, but I don't want to live next to a hotel. And that is how I personally view Airbnb. And I know it's extremely profitable, but I don't want my neighbors, some random people in the middle of the night. Does that make me a bad person? Comment below. All right. If you own Airbnb, how do you justify that? How do you justify noise complaints or your neighbors complaining, right? What about their peace of mind? I understand you guys want to make profit. That's fine. We need to make profit. I mean, inflation is out of control. But again, you're doing that at the cost of my peace and pride of ownership. Again, comment below, let me know if you disagree. Now, some of you may not know who Front Desk is. And when I tell you guys their business model, it's absolutely shocking to me that they did what they did and they got away with it. And again, it's another reason why, I'm sorry, but STRs need to either be re-regulated or just need to go away completely. And why don't we let the HOAs vote on that? Now, I first got this story from X, from Macro Edge. Basically, they came out and said short-term rental manager Front Desk on verge of failure, lays off almost all of its nearly 200 employee workforce. Now, I'm going to read this article from TechCrunch.com to kind of tell you guys who Front Desk is, what happened to Front Desk, but it is all tied into Airbnb and STRs. Now, the name of this article is Short-Term Rental Provider Front Desk Lays Off Entire Staff on the Verge of Shutting Down. And you guys are going to shut down. I mean, they laid off their entire staff and their business model just does not work. Another pretext startup has run into trouble. Front Desk, a startup that managed more than 1,000 furnished apartments across the United States, laid off its entire 200-person workforce Tuesday after attempts to raise more capital failed. So the money machine has been turned off. And that's what I'm saying, you guys. As soon as that liquidity is completely gone, and we watch that in the reverse repo market, more and more companies are just going to completely collapse and they're not going to be able to get money to stay in business. And we see that right here with Front Desk. Now, TechCrunch exclusively learned from sources familiar with internal happenings at the company. The mass layoff comes just 7 months after the Milwaukee, Wisconsin-based startup acquired smaller rival Zen City. So I want you guys to think about that real quick. They just purchased a company. So all of this is happening, you guys, at light speed. And that's how a collapse always happens. It blindsides people because people give up because it didn't happen on their time. I was off on my timing, but it doesn't mean there's not a collapse happening. It doesn't mean that there's not a storm coming for us. We already see companies completely shutting down. And that's right after they thought they were going to grow and take over the world. What a flip. Am I right? The layoffs, which included full-time, part-time workers and contractors, occurred Tuesday afternoon during a 2-minute Google Meet call. Imagine that. You're on a Google call with your company and everyone just got laid off. I mean, think about that, you guys, right after Christmas. That's pretty heartbreaking. During that call, Front Desk CEO told employees that Front Desk would be filing for a state receivership, an alternative to bankruptcy, according to sources. The company has not responded to requests for comment when calling the number on Front Desk website. So what it says when you call apparently to them is, currently Front Desk is unavailable. If you have a reservation, please seek alternative accommodations and expect to be contacted within the next 2 weeks. That's crazy. They don't even know what they're going to do. That's crazy. And again, you guys, and I'll tell you how they ran their business. It's an absolute scum. I hate it. I hate how they ran this because it's completely manipulating the market. I'll get there in a minute. But Front Desk, which was founded in 2017, has raised about $26 million from investors such as JetBlue, Veritas Investments, and Sandhill Angels, according to Crunchbase. Front Desk went out for a bridge round, attempting to sell investors on a new plan of doing full-time building management. That tactic didn't work out, and the company couldn't keep operating. Front Desk was apparently still optimistic about its ability to raise more capital. The startup had posted in LinkedIn openings for several jobs, including a chief of staff role, just 2 months ago. So isn't it fair to say that Front Desk was blindsided by the quantitative tightening and the sheer collapse of the banking system, which again is behind the scenes and people aren't telling us about that? Isn't it fair to say that? I mean, they just had 2 months ago an offer for a chief of staff role. Do you guys think that they were blindsided? I think that they were blindsided. So if they're this great company, how are they blindsided? And then ask yourself this: how are normal consumers not going to be blindsided? The fact that people are giving up hope on the economy crashing. Oh, and remember Yellen just said we're headed for a soft landing? You guys, that's just blinding us. Why not prepare for the worst? You can hope for the best. That's fine. Be bullish, but prepare like a bear and protect yourself. As a result of the challenges, the company was not able to make rent on a number of properties, but had little to no communication with the reportedly infuriated landlords. And if you guys remember, if you guys are thinking, well, I thought they were landlords, let me read this real quick and then we'll talk about their business model. The startup's business model, which is leasing apartments at market rents and furnishing them for short-term rentals in more than 30 markets, has struggled largely due to upfront costs involved, associated capital expenditures, and variables in demand and rates, one of the sources said. And if you look here, basically, guys, what's happening here is people are not paying their rent. So of the apartments that they're managing, the people are just not paying enough rent for their business model to work. That's probably because rent is way too high right now. But just to recap, this is what Front Desk does. They basically leased 1,000 apartments. So they leased 1,000 apartments and they converted those apartments to Airbnb or short-term rentals. So they leased an apartment, they furnished it, and then they turned it into an Airbnb. I mean, you guys, the thing is here, Airbnb is ruining the country. In my opinion, it is absolutely terrorizing, it is absolutely destroying the country. And again, I understand the profit. There's a lot of profit there, but it's killing us. And if you're an Airbnb owner, you have to acknowledge people don't want to live next to your Airbnb. You have to acknowledge it's just got completely out of control. About 2-3 years ago, I only personally thought Airbnb was like next to the beach cities. But when we go to the map, and I'm going to take you guys to AirDNA here right now, but when we go to that map, Airbnb is everywhere. It's in the middle of the desert where there's no tourist attractions. It has infiltrated and corroded almost every area of the housing market across the US. And I'm saying right now, I think it is a horrible thing overall. And just to put this in comparison, I want to review Dallas. Now, you guys should know Dallas has recently banned Airbnb from residential zoning areas. So about 99% of Dallas's Airbnbs or STRs, which is short-term rentals, are illegal right now. Now, the enforcement was supposed to start in January. That got kicked down the field to the summer. So obviously these lawsuits, they have to fight out these lawsuits. But regardless, you guys, I'm going to show you guys the impact of the overwhelming greed in STRs in just Dallas, because it's absolutely wicked. So starting with AirDNA, and this is looking again at Dallas. None of this information is 100% perfect, but it gives us an indication. Now, you guys can see, you may remember the STR listings actually are down. This was over 10,000, so it is changing. But right now, as far as STR listings, they have about 10,000 listings. You can see that right here. You see the map right here, and most of the listings are downtown. They have 2,600 listings downtown Dallas alone. Think about that. 2,600 downtown alone. That is insane, absolutely insane. But when we scroll down here, you can see of the entire homes, basically 89% of the 10,000 is SFRs, or the entire home rather. So it could be a condo, a townhouse. But you guys, that's another 8,900 homes that are fixing to hit the market, because most of those homes are illegally ran. There's literally a law that says, hey, you can't be here. Right now, there's about 8,900 around Dallas. Now, to put this in perspective, we have about 8,900 homes that are Airbnbs. Let's look at how many homes are for sale in Dallas. So when we can go to Zillow, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, Zillow does not have all the listings. This is just a source that we're using. There's more than this, but according to Zillow, there's only 2,600 homes for sale in Dallas right now. So you guys, there's 3 times the amount of STRs and homes that are STRs than actual listings. If we had a triple up, you guys, on listings in Dallas right now, what do you think that would do to prices of homes? We already know. We see what's happening in Austin. Austin is one of the only places that has more inventory than pre-pandemic, and that place is plummeting right now in value. You guys, we have 2,600 homes for sale in Dallas, and yet we have 8,900 STRs, and that's not the only thing with Dallas. Let me show you real quick. Not only do we have a bunch of STRs in Dallas, look at all of the new home construction around the Dallas area. Obviously, this extends outside of Dallas. There's roughly 10,000, and this is underreported. I'm going to tell you right now. There's roughly 10,000 new homes being built around Dallas. This is absolutely crazy, and that's underreported. I'm telling you guys, it's probably more like 20,000 homes. So that's, if it's 20,000 homes, that's what? Almost 10 times the amount of new homes versus existing homes that are listed. I mean, come on, guys. We're starting to see the cracks in the economy. That's not crazy to think that. And we still have a yield curve inversion, which is one of the biggest economic indicators of an incoming recession. It's still inverted. It is historically inverted right now, whether it's the 2 and the 10 or the 3 month and the 10, all signs point to a recession, and recessions lead to unemployment, and all of that topped with the STR bans. You guys, I really think in the years to come, there's going to be an absolute catastrophe in the housing market. And unless you're well positioned, you have great credit, you have no consumer debt, you have money saved, you have the proper expectations, you're spending money the right way, I don't think you're going to be a winner. I think people are going to get swept up on this because they're blindsided. I mean, look at the comment section sometimes in my video. How delusional are some of these comments? I hear things like, oh, the economy is great because I just went on a cruise and it was full. People could use their credit card debt to go on a cruise. I mean, we're right out of lockdowns when consumers got an overwhelming amount of stimulus and topped that with the PPP. No wonder why we have a strong labor market. But again, you guys, that's going away, what seems like overnight. Look no more than front desk. And do me a favor, you guys, I want to know how you guys feel about STRs, and let me know how you feel about these gimmicks where people actually rent SFRs or rent houses and then they convert them to STRs and Airbnbs. Again, they rent a house and then they convert it to an Airbnb. I think that's wrong, and I'm probably going to get roasted in the comments. I get emails on this like, Chad, how can you say that? I don't respect you anymore. It's just that's how I feel, you guys. Buy an apartment complex, buy a 4-unit, 5-unit, 6-unit, turn that into Airbnb. But when you're doing that in SFRs, you're messing with the American dream of home ownership, and you're messing with our families. And in my opinion, the short-term rentals need to stop. And again, you guys, I hope to hear what your opinion is. And other than that, if you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck. And I hope you win.